up in Chicago. Mac, you know where I'm going first here. 19 of 28, 298, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Ooh. What do you make of the Caleb Williams performance?
It's safe to say, Bears fans, you guys been patiently waiting for this since Ben Johnson became the head coach. It took a few weeks, but guess what? It finally happened. This is what you expect to see from Caleb working with Ben Johnson, because we saw Ben Johnson create magic with Jared Goff. And one would say or think that in terms of talent, Ben, there's no comparison when you talk about just pure quarterbacking talent. Caleb has more talent than Jared Goff. So if Jared Goff could look really, really good with Ben Johnson, it's safe to say you better look better.
We saw some of those Ben Johnson wrinkles, too. A touchdown on a flea
throwback.
Yeah. We saw a quarterback lined up in the slot, flip the ball where they tried something. We saw some of the orbit motion stuff. The fact that the playbook is opening, does that say anything about relationship between play caller and quarterback?
It does. And as this year goes on, you would expect every week a little bit more trust, a little bit more trust, a little bit more trust, right? He's not going to open the bag first couple weeks of the year. There's a filling out process a little bit going on, right? So if you're Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, the communication's there, the trust is there, it's building. This is exactly the game you wanted to see from Caleb today. 300 yards, couple touchdowns, no turnovers. Thought he looked really, really well. His feet, his eyes are slowing down. You can tell the game is kind of slowing down for him, and he looked really smooth today.
Missed a couple ones that we're going to want to see him hit as we sat there and watched the game. A couple layups, a corner route that he still has things to clean up. But when you look at Ben Johnson and the task that he put in front of his team this week, said we're not practicing at a championship level. They come out there and they offer a convincing victory here at home against the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. What are you seeing in the growth of this team and maybe the way they're being coached this year as opposed to years past?
So what I think a lot of folks, when I speak with the Chicago Bears, what they say is we are seeing the progress. It's not necessarily showing up in the wins and losses ledger, right? And I think Aaron Rodgers talked about how binary the NFL can be. But they were seeing that progress. When you consider how the Chicago Bears, the offense has looked better at the start of games. They have looked like they have been ready to play each week that they have played. And then today, they come out, and what do they do on their first drive? They score a touchdown. Very impressive, right? And they continued and kept that rolling. The thing that stands out to me, it's the end of the third quarter, and it's a long drive, and the Chicago Bears are up 10, and you can just kick the field goal. Right here, down near the goal line, it's 4th and a couple. And what they decided to do was, we're going to go for it. We're going to put away the Dallas Cowboys at the end of the third quarter. And I know that the final score doesn't really reveal how big of a decision that was, but those 4 points going from 3 to 7 not only helps you on the scoreboard, but it helps the team's confidence, right? That Ben Johnson believed in his team down there against the Dallas Cowboys on a nationally televised game, and that he believed that they were going to get the job done, that Caleb Williams is going to get the job done. This was the game they needed from Caleb. With all the preseason noise, right? With the articles, in a series of articles that came out, questioning about his pre-draft process and the Bears' pre-draft process in acquiring him and how last year went, and it was bad. Make no mistake, it was bad. They needed him to bring them a win. Not win with him, but win because of him. Today, Caleb Williams delivered that.
Appropriate that 4th down play is Caleb creating his own window with his legs, delivering a strike at high speed to DJ Moore as Caleb gets this win over the Dallas Cowboys, but also a head coach that welcomed him into the NFL, and then he showed the door, or at least the front office showed the door later on in that first season for Caleb Williams. Let's go on Dallas here because I'm looking at our next matchups. The Bears will go to Vegas for a 4:25 on CBS. The Cowboys, it's Micah Parsons and the Packers coming up next here. What does this defense need to do, Ben, to have some semblance of a stop looking at another talented group in Green Bay?
Let's just play hypotheticals a little bit here. Let's say the Dallas Cowboys, what would this defense look like with Micah Parsons?
Oh, if you had an edge rusher?
Yeah, if we had an edge rusher. Jerry said it before the year. We needed to stop the run, so we got rid of him. This defense hasn't really shown up to play much the first 3 weeks, right? And you hear it all the time. Defense wins championships. B-Mac, you know it. If your D-line is not physical, is not setting the line of scrimmage week in and week out, it's going to be tough on that side of the ball to stop anybody in this league.
What did we see last week with the Cowboys and the Giants? That was a reoccurring theme against them defensively. Malik Neighbors getting behind.
Deeper than the deepest.
Wan'Dale Robertson getting behind. What did we see today?
Rome Odunze, Luther Burton.
The same thing. I don't care who you have on the first two levels. Secondary, if you continue to allow people to get behind you, you will be chasing. As defensive backs coach emphasized, keep the roof on the house. That's the only way rain won't get in. Unfortunately for the Dallas Cowboys, the living room has flooded. The bedroom has flooded. The same game plan that we saw with the Giants that was successful, they found a way to implement that in their game plan today. And I'm talking about the Bears. It's a copycat league. Anytime you put bad tape out there one week, the things that you did wrong, that team you're playing the next week will do the same thing. And they might manipulate it a little bit, spice it up, but they're trying to get to the same outcome. And that's what we saw, taking shots on the football field. So not a game plan against the Cowboys, Ben. You know it. Anytime you get ready to play the Cowboys, they give up deep passes. Let's find a way to get behind coverage because you put it on tape 2 times. 2 straight times, 2 straight weeks. You will continue to see that. And you talked about who they have next, the Green Bay Packers, which was already going to be a big game because Micah's coming back home. But guess what happened? Green Bay had to eat humble pie today.
Spirited week of practice on the way.
They were force-fed humble pie. They didn't want to eat it.
They didn't want to eat it.
They were force-fed it. So you know what happens now? They're coming back, and now back to reality and get back to the basics, and they're trying to dominate against the Cowboys.
Set that stage for us because bigger than the game, deeper than rap. Call it what you want. This is going to reflect on both parties in that mega deal we saw just days before the season.
I mean, there's no question, and both teams are going to be reeling, right? Because for the first 2 weeks, we thought the Green Bay Packers were world beaters, and now they've come back down to earth, having lost to Joe Flacco's Cleveland Browns. Meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys, okay, week 1, you lose a close one where Dak Prescott plays at an MVP-like level to the defending Super Bowl champions, and everybody says, okay, that's all right, you're going to be fine. You squeak out a win against the New York Giants, and now this embarrassing loss in Chicago. There could be some help. Ben, you talk about that pass rush. Jadeveon Clowney was inactive today. I think after a week, you should be able to see Clowney. Now, am I saying that he's going to solve all their problems? No, but he is a pass rusher mercenary in the NFL. CeeDee Lamb went out with an ankle. Jerry Jones did say that the team doctors ultimately said, hey, I think we might have gotten lucky here. And CeeDee Lamb, talking to reporters after the game, he did say that he believes he's going to be able to play next week. Now, you guys know that could be some of that post-game adrenaline still kind of flowing through his face. We'll see how that ankle is tomorrow when he wakes up. But some good news coming out of Dallas ahead of that big matchup.
So Sunday Night Football fantasy managers have your contingencies in order. A late start there by CD, maybe a couple extra hours, but you're going to need more than CD to sort things out right now. It is a secondary issue, the primary concern for the Dallas Cowboys, who we look at Dak's numbers as a starter. His last 2 seasons, injury abridged a year ago, and operating at a high level here, but the result.
What's up, Cowboys Nation? It's Victor here with Dallas Cowboys Today. And I've got to be honest with you guys. This might be one of the craziest starts to a Cowboys season I've seen in a long time. We're only 3 weeks in, and already Jerry Jones is reportedly losing his patience. After that embarrassing 31-14 loss to the Chicago Bears, word is that Jerry is seriously considering firing Brian Schottenheimer as head coach. And tomorrow morning, a major meeting is set to decide his future. So buckle up because we've got a lot to break down. What went wrong against the Bears? Why Jerry might be ready to pull the plug this fast? And what it means for the Cowboys moving forward. First off, let's talk about that loss to Chicago. Caleb Williams and the Bears didn't just beat us, they dismantled us. Williams threw for 298 yards, 4 touchdowns, no sacks, no interceptions, and finished with a ridiculous 142.6 passer rating. That's not just good, that's career high, MVP level good, and he did it against our defense, the defense that was supposed to be the backbone of this team. 8 different receivers caught passes. Luther Burden went off with over 100 yards. And honestly, it looked like Schottenheimer and the staff had no adjustments, no answers, nothing. The same issues that popped up against the Giants, still there. And remember, Schottenheimer told us last week that the secondary problems were easily fixable. Well, tell me where those fixes were, because I sure didn't see them. Now I get it. Injuries played a part. CeeDee Lamb went down early with that ankle injury, tried to come back, but couldn't go. Trevin Diggs and Kenny Clark also got banged up late in the game. That hurts, no question about it. But here's the thing, even when they were on the field, we weren't stopping anybody. This wasn't about one injury or one player. This was about preparation, adjustments, and leadership. Dak Prescott. Stat sheet looks solid at first glance. 77.5% completion, 251 yards. But the 2 interceptions were killers. That drops his passer rating to 80.3, and he just didn't look like a guy who could will this team back into the game. Jake Ferguson was a bright spot. 13 catches, most by a tight end in the league this year. George Pickens stepped up with a touchdown in CeeDee's absence. And Javonte Williams ran like a monster, averaging 7.6 yards a carry. But once we fell behind, we had to abandon the run, and the game was basically out of reach. And that's where Jerry Jones comes in. This isn't about one game, folks. It's about a pattern. The defense has collapsed in back-to-back weeks. The offense looks inconsistent, and this is a team Jerry built to win now. He went all in on trades, on free agents, on keeping Dak upright and happy. And 3 weeks into the Schottenheimer era, the Cowboys are 1-2 and don't look anything like contenders. Cowboys Nation, Jerry's 82 years old. He doesn't want to hear rebuild. He doesn't want excuses. He wants wins. And if he feels like Brian Schottenheimer isn't the guy to lead this roster, he's not going to waste time waiting around. Tomorrow's meeting, that could be the beginning of the end for Schotty in Dallas. Now, here's my take. Firing a head coach after 3 games sounds insane, right? But let's be real. Have you seen anything in these 3 games that makes you confident Schottenheimer is the guy? Because I haven't. Defense looks lost without Parsons. The offense is too turnover prone and the vibes feel off. Sometimes you just know when it's not working. But let me flip it back to y'all. Do you think Jerry is overreacting, or is he absolutely right to hold Schottenheimer accountable now instead of wasting the season? Should Jerry cut ties immediately or give him more time to turn things around? Cowboys Nation, let me know what you think in the comments. Should Jerry Jones really fire Schottenheimer after just 3 games, or would that be a panic move? I'll be in the comments with y'all all night, because this is one of the biggest storylines we've seen in years. And hey, if you bleed silver and blue like I do, hit that like button, subscribe to Dallas Cowboys today, and share this video with every Cowboys fan you know. Trust me, the season is just getting started and things are already heating up in Dallas. Go Cowboys, and let's hope Jerry makes the right call tomorrow.